guys have been keeping up with the content, I have been completing World Tour mode in WWE 2K25. Now, this has been a really good, enjoyable experience. It's been a grind, but it has been fun. Now, there are some matches in there that will absolutely make you pull hairs out your head, and I'm here to help you with that. I'm here to talk about the story of me grinding and how I completed it. This is how I finished my story. Let's go on ahead and get into it. Man, so when I got in here, I got into Orlando. Orlando was pretty simple, pretty easy. This is how you get Kalani Jordan, which again, a really good Persona card from 2023 though, so this one was pretty recent. The difficulty for this one was pretty low. So if you had problems with this city, then you're probably gonna have problems with a lot of cities completing this region. Now, it was pretty simple. I got Kalani and I thought she was good as well to help me out finish the other cities as well, because the other cities got absolutely tougher. Then we move on to Philadelphia for RVD 1997 Persona card. This one was pretty simple as well. I really had no issues with this one, but then we get to Boston. Boston is where I got a lot of the issues, because there's literally a sequence or chapter, whatever we call these things, dedicated to War Games matches. Now, I have absolutely the best tip for you over for these War Games matches. And again, they're going to get very repetitive, but it does help that some of them are for women. So they have a 3-on-3 for the women, 4-on-4 for men. But I did notice that as I was playing the match, there was a way to get it done fast. Obviously, you can't control when these wrestlers come out aside from the game bringing them out, but what you can control is the damage that you do to your opponent. So the first opponent that you're facing in the War Games match, you just want to beat them down, and beat them down, and make sure that you beat them up real bad, because they're going to be ready for a pinfall by the time that the last contestant gets in the match and it becomes an official match where you can go for the pin. That was my way of getting all these matches done. Again, they all take about 10 to 15 minutes a piece, but to ensure that you don't redo it, you want to make sure that you are clicking the select button every time to switch characters, making sure that your characters aren't getting pinned, making sure that they're not being submitted, making sure that they're just doing the right thing and, you know, just beating people up, because that's essentially what the whole War Games match is for me when I'm playing in this World Tour mode. Now, once I get to the end, I go for the pin. Sometimes I don't even hit a finisher. Sometimes I just go on ahead, stun them real quick, or if I see them on the ground, I'll go for a quick pin, because odds are that if they've been in the match since the beginning, they've already taken 4 or 5 finishers, so it's a pretty easy pin. They're pretty much defeated at that point, so definitely something to point out there. So wanted to make that very clear to you guys. The War Games matches, they're tough, and this was the one that I had a lot of issues with at the beginning, but once I realized that they're ready to go for a pin as soon as the bell rings, that's when you got to go for the win, because you don't want to overextend that. And the faster you end these matches, the quicker you're going to get this region done, because these matches, again, they're pretty time consuming. There are some Iron Man matches in here as well that, yeah, they're pretty tough. Let's go on ahead and get into Chicago, the one for CM Punk, which leads you to finishing 3 of the chapters in here, and then going to Los Angeles, and then getting a Roman Reigns Sapphire card that you don't even need to use at all once you get it. It's just required for the challenges to open. I can't tell you guys how much that pissed me off, but yeah, let's go on ahead and get into this one. The City of Punk, straight edge, no breaking point, better than you. This one was pretty simple. Once I got the Roman Reigns card, once I went into better than you, that was pretty simple as well. I mean, they had a 1-on-1 match, 2-on-2 match, Hell in a Cell, TLC tag match, ladder match, and ladder matches are easy. The one tip I definitely want to give you guys with ladder matches is that when you're up there going for the briefcase, you want to make sure that you have some finishers stored so you can skip the stage. So in case you didn't know this shit with the new mini game, if you have a finisher stored, you can skip 1 stage. So I usually try to get 2, and I skip both stages and just go quickly with the mini game. So something to keep in mind when you are playing these ladder matches, because there are quite a few. So again, just a quick tip for you guys on that end. Hell in a Cell match, pretty simple. Just beat your opponent up with that. If you are having issues, use weapons, guys. Weapons are key in these matches that you can use them in. So I definitely want to make that clear to you. The 1-on-1 match on this one was actually pretty cool. It was pretty easy. You're not going to run into much issues with the Punk one. Just, again, do what you got to do. One tip that I want to give you guys in general, if you face any tag team matches in any of these chapters, you can actually go for the count out. That was the easiest thing. Shout out to my Twitch chat for hooking me up with that information, because with a tag team match, you're not even thinking about going for a count out, but you actually can. And that was something that I was doing every single tag team match, because it was just much easier to get it done that way. And it was done within 2 to 3 minutes, because one thing about the computers and these cards are already low rated. So if you get the upper hand, you're going to stun them real quick, and the refs count pretty fast. So again, you should be done within 3 to 4 minutes when it comes down to these tag team matches that you're going to, and their partners don't really interrupt you or really get in your business while you're beating them up outside. So something to keep in mind, always drag them to the side of where your team is at, because in case that they try to get the upper hand on you, you could jump off the apron, knock them back down, and make sure that you get that count out win. So that is probably my biggest tip for tag team matches when it comes down to World Tour mode. Now we get to Los Angeles, man, and this one again, you needed the CM Punk, so you're going back and forth between Chicago and Los Angeles, so you have to go to the one problem. And again, these are a bunch of tag team matches that I just gave you the sauce. Once you get to this right here, this is how you get the Solo Sikoa Bloodline Persona card. You're gonna go on ahead and just count out all these matches. Now, some of them may be elimination. You'll just have to do it 3 times. Usually I was just doing it twice, so they don't come in and interrupt my pin, and then I'll go on ahead and just beat the last one fair and square, which is pretty simple because you're not dealing with nobody from the outside interrupting your pins. So something to keep in mind there. Just use that same tip. That was really everything that I had issues with when it comes to that. I've had people reach out to me asking, hey, how did you complete the ambulance match? And that one was pretty simple. Just beat them up with weapons. And I know that that one is tough because that one has the mini game. Something to keep in mind. I definitely flew past a lot of these, but there were some that definitely gave me issues. After I'm done with LA, we go to New York, and this one is the best in the world. Bro, this was nuts. The way to do this, and this may actually be patched, so you want to get this done as soon as you see this video. It looks like you cannot beat a lot of these wrestlers. I had people telling me, man, I was going in against Kofi Kingston for over 45 minutes. I'm like, bro, what? That is an insanely long time, but I got this done in about half hour, all of the matches. And the way I did it was you Irish whip Kofi to the corner, or you Irish whip the ref to the corner, and then you Irish whip them into each other. At some point, the ref is going to get very fed up, and they will go on ahead and call the disqualification. I'm sure that 2K is aware of this because it's all over X, so don't come and get mad at me for posting this information. It's probably going to get patched really soon, honestly. They're probably not going to allow that, but what they'll do is they'll probably make the difficulty of these matches a little bit easier. So regardless whether you don't get to it now or later, this is something that you definitely want to look out for, because these guys were basically almost unbeatable for a second. So something to keep in mind with that, with the best in the world. This was really the one that gave me issues. So definitely don't hold your breath for that one. Then we get to Dallas to end it all off, and the cage match was pretty tough. The fatal 4-way, you just got to build your finishers, stun all 3 of them at the same time, and climb that cage as fast as possible. This one was pretty tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just a lot of stuff that you really don't expect, but again, it is what it is. The steel cage tornado match, easy. When you're facing a 2-on-2, what you want to do, you want to make sure that the other one escapes from their team. That way you're on a 2-on-1 and you can just do the beating up, and then after that you just go and climb the cage, because when it's 2v2, it is so hard, bro, to avoid both of them, because they will go and attack you every time. If you reverse the other one comes back up. I'm like, all right, bro, one of you guys gotta leave. Once I got one of them to leave, I was like, all right, this is much fathomable now. And as you guys see in the gameplay, I'm trying to show you guys everything that I was doing to complete this mode. Now, this mode to me was pretty fun. I was able to get CM Punk, John Cena, Cody Rhodes Ruby card for, you know, my faction fun, and I was able to get his elite card as well, and Rhea Ripley as well. Her elite card was in there, which is the Persona action figure. And then I also got Solo Sikoa and Kalani Jordan and Ultimate Warrior RVD. Again, this is one of those modes, man, where I felt like, all right, this is good. And if you're missing a Sapphire card, because a lot of these times I was missing a Sapphire or a Legends card, as I was playing this mode, I raised a lot of my faction points, so that's definitely one thing to look out for. I had to go and buy Molly Holly for the Legends cards, and then I also spent a little bit of money to get myself China, because I am a fan of her. So you can either spend or you don't have to. There are effective ways to make my faction points. If you are on the early access version, odds are that you got Jey Uso, so you can go in there, get yourself 5,000 my faction points in the live events. It does seem like some of it is a lot easier to acquire, so I definitely want to go on ahead and point that out. A lot of this stuff I was just getting done because I just wanted to go out and get myself CM Punk. So that's really all it is. So I wanted to go on ahead and show you guys tips and tricks to get these Persona cards, get this mode done. If you are missing some sort of Sapphire card, make sure to check out Faction Wars, because those do have a lot of cards in there that you can use for this mode. But keep in mind, it is going to take you a little bit of time. Something to keep in mind, food for thought. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.